little bit of Green Acres.
Green Acres is the place to be.
You remember this song, don't you?
Hard living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York.
You have just unlocked the door to the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound and of sight. You are moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of offense and defense. You have just crossed over into the Irish Bill Sports Zone.
Let's go, Irish.
Welcome to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. No, that's not Seminole Bob. that is Bulldog Marty. Gosh, I just can't get away from Georgia fans.
Hey, man, I love Georgia.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. We got a special treat tonight as we're going to talk about, with Marty Wilson, a good friend of mine. I train with him in the mornings, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over at Navarre Fitness, one of our sponsors this year. He's training. He's getting the youth of Navarre used to strength and conditioning at an early age. Our softball players, volleyball, baseball, whatever sport you play,
Yes, sir.
this is the man at Navarre Fitness to get your young children on the right track.
Yes, sir.
But we got our great show as always, and God, I just can't get away from Georgia fans. It's everywhere I go, there's Georgia fans.
There's nothing wrong with that, Bill.
No, you're good. You're a good Georgia fan. You're not like those Bama fans.
I try to be as humble as possible.
Well, I got a couple of my followers, Deborah Brox, and she said, "Hi, Marty."
Hey, what's going on?
And my good friend Tim Keene, he's also a Bama fan. But there's one thing I will not say on my show, unless it's the end of the season and I need money for playoff videos. So thanks, guys, for checking in. My good friend Joe Settle over in Niceville. He's on the chain gang over at Niceville for the last 13 or 14 years, maybe longer. But he gets up close and personal with the Niceville football game, so he's one of our pickers. We're going to talk a little bit about, not much about the Choctaw Navarre game, as we're a couple weeks out from that now. We're going to talk more about what's coming up on Thursday night, Marty.
Down in Mosley.
Down at Mosley, another Thursday night game. So weather permitting, if the storm hopefully doesn't change directions in the next day or two.
You never know. If it gets nasty, it might be in our favor.
That could be. They could also move the game to another day.
Oh, that's true.
It won't be Friday because the field is already being used on Friday night. That's why they play a lot of Thursday games in Bay County, is because they share a field over there, the county stadium over there. Tommy, I always mess that one up. I'm just not going to say it today. But great field and stadium over there at Mosley High. They share the field with Bay High School over there. We're going to talk a little bit about the high school schedule coming up, but we're going to get our show started tonight. Like I said, Marty trains the youth here in Navarre as well as with some of us old guys over here at Navarre Fitness.
Our seasoned.
Seasoned. Yeah, there you go. I like that, seasoned, with a little bit of pepper on top.
That's right.
More salt and pepper.
Yeah.
But Marty is working with our youth, and I'm going to go ahead and let Marty take over from here and tell us what he's doing with the program over at Navarre Fitness.
Yeah, Bill, I'll start with the backstory. So I'm originally from Macon, Georgia. Actually went into the Air Force, and when I got here, I was super excited just because I have 4 athletes of my own, my children, well, 2 adults now, and 3 adults, actually.
3 adults, one in the Air Force.
Yes. My daughter just went to the Air Force. She's an airfield manager. And my youngest child, Joshua Wilson, plays football over at Navarre High School. He's a senior this year, running back and safety. But it's interesting how everything got started with the youth out here back in 2018. Joshua and I, we used to sit down. I sat down with all of my kids, and we would talk about goals. And he told me that he wanted to play collegiate football. And I sat down and explained to him what would need to take place in order for me to, set aside time to train him. And I gave him a 6-month program, and I told him if he did it on his own and he was serious about it and we progressed the right way, that I would take time out and I would work with him a lot. So Joshua, being the young man that he is, very, very hard worker, has great intangibles. He'd go to school, come home, he would knock out the training, and I followed him and made sure he was doing everything. And 6 months later, we got started. And it was a pretty cool time because at that time, COVID-19 was kind of starting to take off, and we had a lot more family time, and we were able to do some training as a family, so it was cool.
Yeah, I remember meeting Josh. I think it was he was just going into his freshman year. We were up on the roof getting ready to do a game, and I think Josh came up there. I think you were up there with him, possibly, and I got to meet Josh when he was a freshman, and I could tell right then that young man was going to be special.
Yeah, he's solid. His mother is amazing as well. Very, very smart guy. So when we got started, Bill, I was excited about it because when I was young, y'all, my dad actually committed suicide when I was 8 years old. And my mom did everything she could to have me and my young brother specifically utilize the energy and everything that was going on at the time to channel that into something positive. So we started taking Taekwondo, and we started youth football. I think I was 12 at the time. And I didn't realize how much it was going to help me out. I love the game, but when I started playing, a lot of that, the energy, a lot of the frustrations, I was able to utilize that on the field. Fast forward that I go to high school, and I went to Central High in Macon, Georgia. How
was their program there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We actually, my freshman year, we went to the playoffs. We went 8-2. My freshman year, we had one of the top players in Georgia actually that year, senior. His name was Tony Gilbert. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's actually a coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a linebacker coach. But he was one of the top players in the state, and we were really good my freshman year. Then that year, our coach retired, and we had a new staff come in. My head coach, C.B. Cornett, took over our program my sophomore season, and we had some rebuilding years the first year and a half. And then my senior year, we were pretty good. So.
Yeah, my first trip through Macon is when I was going down to NCO Leadership School years ago.
Really?
when it was at Warner Robins,
Oh, yeah.
and not too far from, and a lot of good football players come out of that area, Houston County.
Absolutely.
People say it's Houston. No, it's Houston County. I learned. I got corrected rather quickly when I was down there for 5 weeks. But
It was not fun whenever teams in Macon had a team from Warner Robins on the schedule. They were really, really tough school. Actually, the only time that we were able to beat them was my freshman year throughout my my football career in high school. So went well. So either way, so when I first got passionate about strength and conditioning, it was with my head coach, C.B. Cornett. Fantastic leader who's actually a Marine. He had a Purple Heart, Silver Star, incredible leader. So he was a grinder. He would have us in the gym all the time. And I didn't know how much we actually worked. I didn't know the levels to it until I got into the Air Force. But by the time I got to another state or country, I just realized, how great our program was. So got in the Air Force, and that's when I first got certified as a physical training leader. And I took it more serious, got certified, and a different certification so that I can do training for the Combat Readiness Group, for Civil Engineering and Red Horse out in the Air Force. And I started training some of my brothers, and then eventually I was like the lead PTL at one of my installations. And then whenever we went on deployments, which I did 4 of them, I used to train our guys out there as well to be ready for missions and stuff like that. So really, really good. So by the time we got here, fast forward to when Josh started training, there was a few guys in the 2025 class for the Navarre Raiders, his teammates that wanted to join the program, Vinny Villanova, Mason Baker, Jack Hilton, Jacob Crowder. There was about 10 of them the first year, and we were just getting everything established. We had a lot of fun with it in the beginning, and we had a lot of success. So after that, I was still working, actually. I was in corporate America once I retired from the Air Force, and I was doing everything in my off time. So I would get off work and come and work with the guys. But over the years, the last 4 to 5 years, it's grown tremendously. The community is very supportive. And now, we're blessed to be over at Navarre Fitness with some great leadership, some great partners.
Most definitely.
And, super excellent building. And I love what we're doing.
Tell us a little bit about some of the trainers over at Navarre Fitness.
Okay, so we got Clay. He does everything, but he's a bodybuilding champion. He's trained quite a few.
And he wears the craziest shorts.
Yeah, he has a great personality. You can tell by the clothing that he wears. He's really loose. He loves training. He's really good. We got Andrew. He's a prior Air Force veteran as well. He was a firefighter. He doesn't have anything specifically that he does, but he's very versatile in his training.
Okay.
He trains young adults as well. He trains young ladies and stuff. So really good trainer. And myself. And now we actually have a new trainer. Her name is Ashley. You met her?
Yes,
And
met her yesterday morning.
Yes, sir. She's actually from Macon, Georgia as well. And
I won't hold that against her. She got a chuckle after I said that the first time.
Yeah. So we got a great team over there forming up, and not only the team at that gym, but the entire community. There's so many great trainers around the area. JP out in Niceville and Valparaiso and Fort Walton. We got Tyler Ribber out in Crestview.
Oh, I know Tyler rather well.
Yeah. So we're honestly, a lot of us are communicating, and we want to just elevate the community. There's so many talented people in the Panhandle. We didn't have a lot specific to the area out here, but now we have Mark Subido as well. He's training young athletes, specifically young football players. He's got some volleyball players as well now. So we just want to come together. We're all competitive individuals, but we're competing with ourselves, and we want to elevate the community so that we can get all the athletes and whoever wants to train and become better.
Well, one of my favorite sayings is it takes a village.
Absolutely.
You don't know where people are coming from. You don't know where they've been. You don't know their life experiences. Yep. But when you can bring them all together, and I think that's one thing that the Air Force and the military has taught both of us.
Yeah. No, the intangibles, and we communicate about that. We have some pillars within our organization. Myself and Zamir Jones, he graduated from Navarre High School.
He was a beast on the field.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a beast in the gym too. He's the future of this. Like that guy is very, very talented, super humble. But we talk about the intangibles with our athletes all the time, and that's something that we learned in the Air Force. Being coachable, teachable, earning credibility with your teammates and your network, having toughness, having desire, and competing with yourself on a day-to-day basis is very, very special and important to have those intangibles, because honestly, like, if you don't have good intangibles, the tangibles don't really matter.
That's right. But one of the things I really like that I've seen up front in the last 5 weeks, now that I've been training with you in the morning, bright and early, is humbleness.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it takes a village, and you have to be a special type of person, because there's too many egos in our society today, but you won't find that with us.
Yes, sir. And honestly, it's something I had to work on when I was young. My mom, I had a lot of pride as a young athlete myself, and I would throw temper tantrums when I was young. I didn't like losing, and I'm pretty sure we can all.
I still don't.
Yeah, none of us do, right? But just figuring out how to have the discipline, in those situations when you lose in life on a day-to-day basis or moment-to-moment basis, how to recover and how to learn from those situations, have patience, and how to be a more humble person because of it. Still learning that today. That's one of my opportunities in life. But you're right. We're driving that culture within our group, and I love how the athletes are responding and how they're taking care of each other.
Yeah, I'll be 62 in February, and one thing my dad taught me, and one thing that I've tossed on down to both my kids, Brooke and Brady, is learn something new every day.
Absolutely.
If it's minute, learn something new every day. At 61, I'm still learning.
I am too.
Something new every day. It's when you stop learning, you stop growing, and you don't get to feel the full extent of what this life is for us.
That's right. And it's funny you mentioned that. We were working out a couple of mornings ago, and we were talking about learning new things, new words specifically. Your partner in crime, we were talking about the word of the day.
Diminutive.
Yeah, diminutive, yeah. And honestly, I've heard the word before, but I didn't really understood what it meant until he talked about it on that broadcast. So it's funny that you mentioned that. Learning.
It's not about being small. It's about being undersized.
There you go.
But still having the heart to continue the fight.
Absolutely.
I tell you, it's been great getting to know you over the years, Marty, and I know you've worked out a lot more with my son than you have with me.
Hey, we're catching them though.
We're getting there. I don't know if I'll ever bench 370, but I don't have that ambition in me. But it's been nice getting up early and having a purpose in the morning again, and instead of just sitting there on the couch watching TV. And it's nice to get back out. But tell us what some of the athletes that you're don't have to mention names in particular. What sports that you're helping out with so far?
Yeah, so we have plenty of sports. So we got football. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. We got some softball athletes, baseball. We got volleyball. We have track. We have I said baseball already, right?
You did.
And we also have lacrosse as well. So
an up-and-coming sport here in the area.
Yeah, the community is growing rapidly. We also have some gymnasts, too. Forgot to mention that. But I will mention a few athletes just because I'm proud of some of the accomplishments they have.
Most definitely.
Mind. So, obviously, Vinny, Josh, Andre, Spence, they're doing big things on the football field. But you've had the opportunity to work out with Natalia Taylor.
Oh, yes.
One of our great softball players in the area from Navarre. That young lady is very humble. She's very hardworking, and she comes from a great family. To see the growth that she's had the last couple of years, Bill, it gives me chills just talking about it and speaking about it.
And we're talking uber talented. You may see this young lady on the United States women's team in the future. No. She is that good.
She's really, really good.
And only a junior.
Yep. Only a junior. She's actually, this past weekend, she was up at Ohio State, visited. We talked about it. She had a camp, communicated with coaches. She's been very, very excited. You look at her in the pictures that she's posting on social media and some of the ones that her mom and her dad have sent to me. I'm so excited for Natalia because she's truly put in a lot of work, not just with us, with Foundry Athletics, a lot of softball coaches in the area that are pouring into her as well. So it's been a collection of talent in the community, that's doing everything. But without her work ethic and without her intelligence and her intangibles and the parents that she has, none of this will be possible. So I'm so thankful for a lot of the athletes we have. We got some up-and-comers too. Manny. We got some guys on the 14U football team.
Ashton Aragon and guys like that.
Yeah. Isaiah Aragon.
Isaiah.
Yeah, we got Jacoby, Aaron, Manuel. I mean, there's so many young guys. I don't want to miss any names. We're training probably about.
I got to meet a lot of them that Saturday that we were having the open house over there at Navarre Fitness. Got to talk with them a little bit, and
yes, sir.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Well, we're going to head out and take our first commercial break. This is Irish Bill's Twist on Sports from Culver's in Navarre. I'm here with Marty Wilson tonight, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
To everyone who loves Culver's, the feeling is mutual. I'm Nicole from Culver's of Cross Plains, Wisconsin. And when I'm serving you a Butterburger, I'm just as happy as you are. I almost get giddy when I hear the sizzle of our fresh beef on the grill. Seeing that smile that comes from a meal made just right, some call it magic, but I like to call it love at first bite. Stop in for a cook-to-order Butterburger and let us make Culver's your happy place.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you. University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. A buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future. You need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, a refinancing experience is smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
The Hustle isn't named after anyone, not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com, and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, are making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. I'm here with, I'm going to call him Bulldog Marty. You like that?
Yeah, I like it.
You've had a lot of success over the last few years with your Georgia program, and I'm hoping that my Irish get back there someday, but hopefully not like last weekend. But I heard that even Rudy, I think, was talking about a sequel for his next Rudy movie, wearing an NIU jacket. I saw a post on that earlier. I thought that was – see, I can laugh at myself and my team once in a while. You almost have to because we've lost to some, I wouldn't say lesser programs, but smaller programs over the last few years. And, gosh, I want to get back to 1987, 1988 with the Rocket and Tony Rice and all those guys and Tim Brown. And those guys were just amazing back then. Joe Montana, Joe Theismann, his birthday today. Mm-hmm. And I used to do a Saturday morning show, the Southern Gentleman Sports Show, and we actually had Joe Theismann call in twice.
Are you serious?
To our Saturday morning show. Both times I was not there.
That's incredible.
So the Notre Dame guy's not there, and Joe Theismann calls in. Bad timing.
Oh, man.
But anyways, let's talk a little bit about this year's team. 10 new starters on offense. It's like I look at the Chicago Bears yesterday or this weekend. Yeah. They have half of their offense is new starters. And I see I know how talented Caleb Williams is. He struggled.
Extremely talented.
But they basically half of their offensive line is new. Mm-hmm. Navarre, 4 of their 5 is new on the offensive line. Yeah. 2 new wide receivers, new tight end, Jared Everett. They got some talent, but you know what? They got to learn to play together. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people look at the Navarre program right now, and they say, well, guys, they haven't scored at all. Well, they also don't know the what's been going on in the background. You had 7 kids transfers, and most of those guys were on the offensive side of the ball. Not going to mention names. It's done and it's over and done with. So that means you got 10 new starters. Your only starter is offensive lineman Jacob Walsh. So you have 3 new receivers. You have 2 new tight ends. Your running backs, yes, they did play some last year, but they're given a bigger load this year. and you have a brand new quarterback in Roman Marshall. That's a lot to bring together. 10 out of your 11 starters are new.
Yep. That's a great point. Like, you lose basically 97 to 99% of your offensive production. And
You're exactly right.
And it wasn't like these were normal athletes. Like Terrence Marshall, obviously playing D1 football.
Western Michigan.
Jackson Spalla, Hunter Feaster.
Maryville College.
Yeah, I mean we can go on, and even with our center play and stuff, and the guys that are.
And I heard Charlie's playing football again.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. Lighthouse College, right?
Yep.
No, I'm excited for him. I'm glad he decided to get back on the field.
Most definitely, but I mean, you got like your offensive lineman. One of your most important positions on your offense is your center.
Absolutely.
Brand new center this year.
Yep.
Kenny Hughes, you got Hughes, and now you have Hola that has stepped in the last game as
Jared.
well. We ran a 6-man front last week, something different. And I talked a little bit about this with Coach Bagley last week. With everything that's happened, no points scored, turnovers, the locker room is still together.
Yeah. I actually had an opportunity to speak with Coach Bagley. I think it was last week. Brought Joshua back from concussion protocol one day, and I just mentioned, like with our military experience, we understand, right? Like when things get tough and you go through hard times, this is when you know who truly has your back. That's the one thing I love about that, even as an athlete. Anybody can be on that bandwagon when you're having a lot of success. But when you start taking losses and things get difficult and you have adverse times, especially early in the season right before a bye week, you can figure out who truly has your back. You can understand what players are going to come in and still work hard, have great effort, study film, bring up the team. You learn so many things about people during hard times. And that's what I love about these challenges. And I know everything's going to get better with the work ethic, the character that Coach Bagley has, and then the leadership they have in the locker room. I'm looking forward to them turning the season around and, us looking back at this at the end of the season and communicating about staying positive and how good it was to see the guys turn it around.
Most definitely, and you need good leaders in the locker room. One of those, number 3, Vinny Villanova.
Yep.
I've looked at his transformation over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You look at a picture from his sophomore year to this year, you wouldn't even recognize Vinny.
Yeah.
That's how much he's improved. I mean, Josh had 6-pack abs as a sophomore. So, but he's gotten stronger. He's gotten smarter.
Yep.
The leaders, Andre Spence.
Yep.
You've got others with Easy Gaska.
He's grown a lot as well.
As well, Braxton Barr.
He's grown a lot.
Will Payton.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that have been basically in the program since their freshman year.
Yeah, that's great. Cooper Black
as well. Miss his brother. I love watching his brother play last year.
Yeah, Connor has a great personality. That's my brother from another mother right there.
Yeah,
Love
he's recovering from surgery within the last few weeks. But the leadership is important. And you brought up a good point about once you go through adversity, you find out who your brother is.
Yeah.
And these guys that are still here,
mm-hmm.
they're family.
Yeah. And, we're close with quite a few of the athletes that chose a different path, and that's fine.
Yep.
And love them, always will, and very excited for their success and their happiness. But at the same time,
we miss them.
we miss them.
I've been calling their games for 2-3 years, most of them, and it's when they're not there on the side. I know I've 16 years. This is my 16th year broadcasting Navarre football, and I've seen a lot of players come and go, and I've seen a lot of success stories. And that's just not from those that have gone on and played college football or even made it to the pros, which we have 2 in the NFL right now with Jordan Jefferson and Michael Carter. He's on the Arizona Cardinals practice squad.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll be back up with the team sometime during the season.
Yeah, he's a valuable asset.
Great leader. Yeah. And then we got younger talent. His younger brother Josh is doing great things at Eastern Kentucky. I mean, they had a big game last weekend. Dante Wright, I had 11 catches this past weekend against Navy. Yeah, they got beat.
Big time shout out to Dante Wright. He was a big inspiration to Josh.
And he's got his number 5 back.
Got his 5 back, and that's one of the reasons why Josh is wearing number 5.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Dante in the NFL. And we've got Grady Kelly over at Florida State.
Yeah.
Young man is a beast.
Yeah.
I still remember that game against Lincoln where he had 7 sacks in a game. You know how hard that is? Being double and triple teamed.
It's hard to have 7 sacks in a season.
He had 7 in one game. I love describing this situation here. There was a game was going on. Lincoln had first down at our 29. 1st and 10 at the Raider 29 to start their drive. First down, Grady sacks the quarterback. 2nd down, he switches over to the other side. He sacks the quarterback again. So it's 3rd and long. And they double team him again. He gets by, he sacks the quarterback again. The quarterback gets up, slams the ball on the ground. He's so pissed off. I'm sorry. But he's so mad at himself, and 15-yard penalty. So they go from 1st and 10 at our 29 to 4th and 62 at their own 29.
Yeah.
When they punt the ball, they don't even get back to the original line of scrimmage.
I was actually at that game as well. my oldest son, Jalen, was playing, and we were down there. So great memeries from that game. But Grady dominated, and they were double teaming him, triple teaming him, and it didn't work.
It didn't matter. But so I've seen a lot of talented players come out of Navarre early on. I mean, you had guys like the initial year with Scott Crouch, and he went on and played football at Alabama and South Carolina. Frank Willis went on and did Air Force for a couple of years, then graduated from Savannah State, went in the Navy. He's now in 05 in the Navy, stationed out in Washington. I had a chance to talk with him a few years ago. Still serving his country.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. It's just some guys over the years. Austin Grimm, one of our better quarterbacks that we've had at Navarre. Chris Weaver, one of our best wide receivers, all 5'6", one of the best route runners I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think I seen an article on him one time.
Yeah,
not quite sure it was that though.
But I mean, the talent. I mean, you have Billy Mitchell that went on and played at Marshall. One of my success stories, or I got one of my broadcasts. Billy, they heard the broadcast and they watched some film of him running track, and then they came on and offered him a full ride scholarship to Marshall, based off one of my broadcasts and one of my recommendations. But we just had, and we go through the Leggett boys and the Carters and all of the talent of the Marshalls, and I mean, I'm going to stop because I'll forget somebody.
I think the most impactful thing about that is Navarre High School has been around 20 years.
1998 was their first team, but they only had a junior class.
Man.
And 99 was their first full season. So this is their 26th year of varsity football.
Yeah, to produce that much talent, on the collegiate level and also as pros, man, that says a lot about the program, the history, and also the leadership.
And the coaches. I mean, we'll go back to our first year with Kenny Hughes. He only coached 1 year. He was 4-5. Danny Williams took over for 3 years. Then Larry Olson came in, and Larry is one that put the Raider program on the map, took them to their first 2 playoffs in 06 and 07, their first district title. He stepped down, and Chad Lashley took over. Chad now assistant coach out at Catholic. His youngest son, Gavin, playing for the Crusaders out there. And then Jay Walls for 12 years. I mean, gosh.
Man, you
7 district titles, 9 playoff appearances, 2 region titles, 2 semi-state appearances, 102-33 record.
That's legendary.
And now Garrett Bagley, who's been an assistant at Navarre since Coach Olson was a head coach in 2006. So this is actually Coach Bagley's 19th year coaching football at Navarre. A lot of people didn't know that. And he's been in every capacity.
It seems like he doesn't age.
He doesn't.
He still looks the same when I first.
And all know his many accolades from weightlifting. The girls' weightlifting team, 6 state titles. The boys 1.
Oh yeah.
He can flat out coach, and him and his wife are stalwarts here in the community. His wife coaches the cheerleaders over here at Navarre High, and I mean they love Navarre. And Garrett he's a graduate of Milton High, but we won't hold that against him. But this area just there's been abundance of talent over the years between the Escambia County on over to Bay County and into Tallahassee. Yep. I mean, gosh, people say, well, where's Navarre at? And I said, you're missing out if you've never been to Navarre. Yeah. I mean, one of the best beaches in the world right here in Navarre. And these young men, you talk about leadership. How hard is it to be a leader when you got those white sandy beaches out there and all these we won't go any further than that. But
distractions.
A lot of the distractions. And but they come to work.
They do. And you sit down and you communicate with the leaders and even the younger leaders, and that they're looking at the older guys, learning from them, and looking at the GPAs and how often they're in school, the meetings they attend in the morning, the workouts they have. These guys are grinders, and it goes to show how well they have been raised. I talk about this a lot with our young athletes, how great the parenting is here, and I know that firsthand because I was in an area where we didn't have it like Navarre. Being from Macon, Georgia, coming from humble beginnings, being able to see, it's like a day and night comparison. So just always communicating to the athletes how blessed they are to have great parents. Not to overlook it.
Most definitely, and athletes, it's the student athletes, not students at Navarre, and it's always been that way as far as I can remember. That some of the talent, I mean, guys, not only athletic but academically, that we put out through Navarre, and you can tell at each graduation all the scholarships that are given out to not only our athletes but our students as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, Navarre High School is right up there at top, and they are the biggest school in the Panhandle of Florida.
I didn't know that.
Over almost 2,500 students enrolled, and that's the reason why the new high school is going up down the road. Soundside High School will be the Barracudas, and I think they're going to start in 26. They're going to start, and they're going to have where Navarre did it different. They went year by year, freshman class, then they build more, sophomore, build more, junior, then finally the senior. With Southside, it's going to be everybody at once. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pulls from Navarre as far as athletes, and it'll pull from Gulf Breeze as well. But it should be interesting.
Create some opportunities.
Most definitely.
For coaches and faculty and all the workers that we have in the area.
And another coach I want to talk about a little bit. He's got a new program running up in Central High School, just north of Milton. Joe Surratt, a familiar name around here. He played football at Pace High School, went on to play football at Florida State, came back, coached at Navarre as an assistant, and he's leading the Central Jaguars in their very first season of football up there north of Milton.
Didn't we have a coach from our staff?
Also, Johnny Robinson is up there coaching as well, and I think there's a couple others that are up there from the Navarre that are Navarre alums as well. But I wanted to wish him good luck. It's going to be a struggle anytime you start a new program, especially a small school. Just getting your numbers and getting your talent levels up, but he'll do a great job after coaching at Navarre and out at Tate for a couple of years. So good luck to Coach Surratt as he starts the program up. We're going to head out for a second commercial break. Marty Wilson with me tonight as we talk a little Navarre football and talk a little bit about Navarre fitness and what's going on over there. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
To everyone making time for life's best moments, let our team member Sandy share how Culver's is serving up Celebration by the Scoop.
Our rich and creamy fresh frozen custard makes every day a little bit sweeter. Enjoying a handcrafted treat with all the ooey gooey toppings you love? Now that's worth celebrating.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a sweet treat to make every moment count. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, Trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you. University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. A buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future. You need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or refinancing experiences smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
The Hustle isn't named after anyone, not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed.
You need to change your life is a sign. Like an actual sign that's like above you. And no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. It's like they made beer into a place and gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, the best. Marty! You're dead weight! Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go sports bar!
Welcome back to the Twist, Irish Bill's Twist on Sports here at Culver's of Navarre. I want to thank Honey and Randy Smith for bringing me back. I think this is my 8th or 9th year here since they opened the doors here just off Highway 98. I call it a block and a bridge from Navarre Beach, the most beautiful beach in the Panhandle. And this is Irish Bill with Marty Wilson joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure having you on tonight, Marty.
I'm humbled to be here.
And we've got a big game Wednesday night coming up against the Mosley Dolphins.
Yeah, actually Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
That just means it's one day closer.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's going to be back-to-back-to-back nights for me. Tuesday night here, Wednesday night at Buffalo Wild Wings, Thursday night in Panama City.
Yes, sir. That's a great place to be. I did a lot of work in Panama City the last few years.
Great stadium they have over there. Field's beautiful. They got a great thing going on over there. And I think Friday night, if I don't have anything else going on, my son Brady, who's an assistant coach at Pine Forest, wants me to come out and watch the Pine Forest and Choctaw game Friday night. So I may end up out in Pensacola on Friday night to catch that game. But talking about games, let's go over games from last week. Last Thursday night, Lincoln all over St. John Paul II, 49-0. Mosley 35, Rickard 7. Friday night games, Choctaw 14, Crestview 0. Choctaw's only given up 7 points, and that was by their offense. So their defense has not given up a point this year.
Shout out to Jabari Weeks. He actually was one of the first athletes we had. He goes to Choctaw. He plays middle linebacker. Incredible athlete. His mom is awesome as well.
They got a pair of twins over there. If you haven't seen the Reeses and the Alloways play, go out and watch on Friday night. These 4 young men can play some football.
They're physical too.
Niceville 36, Pine Forest 14. Fort Walton Beach moves to 2-1. Happy for them. They beat West Florida 14-0. Tate in a lot closer game against Pensacola. We got to see that Pensacola team up front in the kickoff classic.
They're much better this year.
They have a young man by the name of A.G. Floyd, number 1 running back. He had a big game last week against Tate. And that's the thing that maybe some other teams that have watched that you can run on Tate. Because AG, we'll talk about him in a second, but he had a big night last Friday night. Booker T. Washington gets a win over Milton 12-7. Florida High 41-27 over Hawthorne. McCullough over Child 17-14. Gadsden County, the team to beat in the Big Bend region, they moved to 3-0. That beat Godby 48-7. Gainesville over Leon 14-7. Arnold over Bozeman 42-34. Walton over. Actually, Arnold only scored 12 points all last season. But what happened is the coach left Bozeman, went to Arnold. The players followed him to Arnold. So they're scoring a lot of points this year. Walton with one of the best quarterbacks in the area, Wells Bentonhausen. They beat Holmes County 50-14. Mariana have a strong team with a strong back. They won last week 39-7 over McClay. Jay over Lighthouse 35-8. Freeport over Northview 36-26. Baker over Central 42-7. Bay all over North Bay Haven 62-0. Chipley over Rutherford 14-7. Franklin County moves to 3-0, and that's about as many wins as they've had the last 2 years. They're 3-0 on the season as they beat FAMU 41-14. Port St. Joe 28-0. Going to talk a little bit about Chance Gaynor. Was a senior for the Tiger Sharks. Unfortunately, towards the end of the game last week, he collapsed on the field.
That was tough.
His heart had stopped. They got it going again on the way to the hospital, but unfortunately, he did not. They could not resuscitate him, and so our heartfelt thoughts go out to the community of Port St. Joe. Chance Gaynor, loved by a lot, a smart man with a young man with a lot of future. He was looking at possibly going to Vanderbilt, and you can't be no dummy going to Vanderbilt.
Have to be super intelligent.
So our heartfelt sympathies go out to the Port St. Joe community, their football family, and all those involved with the high school over there. They lost a great young man in Chance Gaynor. Taylor County 37-0 over Dixie County. Vernon over Weewaw 30-0. Madison County over Suwanee 43-26. Osceola Christian over Trenton 29-8. And Jefferson County over Rocky Bayou. You know where Rocky Bayou's at?
I do not.
It's in Niceville.
Really?
It is. It's the other high school in Niceville. They are an independent school, but they lost to Jefferson County 37-0. Here's the games we got coming up this week. A couple of Thursday night games with Navarre being one at Mosley. Fort Walton Beach travels over to Pensacola to take on Washington.
That should be a good one.
Gulf Breeze at Pace. Pace is playing well early on. Choctaw Pine Forest should be a good game. A lot of athletes on both sides of the ball there. Niceville at Crestview, with those teams to get together. It's always fireworks. They split last year. Crestview knocked Niceville out of the playoffs last year. At Niceville, Milton at Tate, Bay at Escambia. Catholic travels up to Montgomery to take on Montgomery Catholic. Pensacola at Destin. West Florida at Walton. South Walton at Arnold. Charles at Rickards. South Broward at Florida High. Gaston County at Coffee, Georgia. They're going to be a true test for Gaston County as Coffee, Georgia was the state champion last year in 5A.
They're really good.
The old Bluntstown coach, Bo Johnson, is an offensive, I think a defensive coordinator and our defensive line coach up there at Coffee, good friend of mine. Sewanee at Godby, North Florida Christian at Taylor, Marianna at Bozeman, Holmes County at Rutherford, Baker at Jay. That's the war on I-4. Did you know about?
I didn't know.
I-4 separates Jay and Baker,
I didn't know that.
so they call it the war on I-4. Every time these two teams get together, it's a great game. St. John Paul II travels down to Braden to take on IMG Academy's white team. They have 3 teams there, the blue, white, and the national team. Central at Northview, Vernon at Chipley. That's the Battle of Washington County, the only 2 schools in Washington County. Did you know that?
I didn't know that either. You have a plethora of knowledge, sir.
North Bay Haven at Jefferson County. I've actually gotten over to Vernon a couple of Friday nights and when Navarre wasn't playing. Quaint little community. You head towards the Funiac Springs. It's in Caryville. You take the Caryville exit, and it's a great little community down there. One of their young man's a running back. He's playing at South Florida now. And then you got Liberty County at Franklin County and Sneads at FAMU. So what games you think are going to be some good ones this Friday night?
Well, I definitely think the Fort Walton Washington game is going to be pretty good. I'm a homer, so obviously I'm looking forward to Mosley and Navarre. We had an opportunity to have a bye week. I feel like we're going to be able to turn some things around. We got some guys healthy. That'll be good. And I'm also looking forward to the Freeport Cottondale game.
Most definitely, Freeport. They are the. I'm trying to remember. They are the Pirates, if I remember. No, not the Pirates. They're the Bulldogs. Freeport's the Bulldogs. Cottondale is the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
Actually, Vernon's the Yellow Jackets. I'm getting all my mascots mixed up here, but that should be a good game as well. Games I'm looking at to hear the results of is that Catholic at Montgomery Catholic game. Both teams 3-0 on the. Actually, Catholic's 2-0, Montgomery Catholic's 3-0. Should be a great game over there. The Choctaw Pine Forest game.
That'll be really good.
That will be really good. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. You know how Mother Nature can be sometimes.
Yes, sir.
And as always, the war on I-4 between Baker and Jay. Both teams 3-0.
Yeah.
Coach Matt Brunson is back at the helm at Baker, doing great things after his hiatus as he went up to Alabama to take the job up there. He's now back at Baker. He was a part of they have 5 state titles at Baker.
Yeah,
they had
solid.
4 in a row.
They're solid.
Back in when Coach Brunson was playing at Baker, and they were one of the best small schools along there with Bell Glades out of South Florida, with some of the guys like the Bernie Blades and the Blades brothers played at Miami are out of that area as well.
Uber talented. The thing I like about Baker, I like old school smash mouth football, and they play a lot of double wing.
They had a young man that graduated. It was either last year or 2 years ago. Caleb Wagner.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Has only one arm, one hand.
He was physical, man.
Physical. I tell you, he basically the year they won the state title, I was over there watching. He basically willed the Baker Gators to a win over Hawthorne that night. And,
I didn't see him come off the field either.
No, he plays both ways.
Yeah.
And they even play basketball too,
Yeah.
which is even more impressive.
Yeah.
But he's playing in I think it's Southern Illinois now.
Yes, sir.
And quite talented young man. It doesn't matter what level of football. It could be rural. It could be 5A, 6A, 7A. They're going to find some talent in here in the Panhandle of Florida.
I just, being from the area that I'm from, when I got here in 2017, that was one of the reasons why we actually picked to come to Navarre. It came down to a good community, good schools, right? Kind of narrowed it down to Niceville and Navarre, to be honest with you. And then I looked at some film from a Navarre game, and I saw Michael Carter. I was like, yeah, we're going there, So, yeah, you're right. There's so much talent in the area, and it's recognized across the nation, I believe, for sure. But now I think specifically the Panhandle is getting more recognition.
I mean, look at a young man, Cole Tabb from Choctaw last year is playing at Stanford.
Yep.
I mean, so that tells you from coast to coast,
Yeah.
they know about the players from the 850.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rather impressive. One thing that I was kind of humbled, I was actually Josh Wilson, who runs the media rankings for the state of Florida. The first time ever the media has a vote in telling you, the whole state, who their top teams are.
Yep.
And Josh gave me a call. No relation. Yep. Joshua Wilson that lives over in Gainesville. Yep. He said, Bill, I'd like you to be a part of this media. And I said, wow, I'm honored to be a part of it. So I get to give my vote each week. So I'm not going to, just because they're 850 teams, I'm not going to just throw your name in there. You have to be given the respect due for me to give you the props that you deserve. And we got some teams in here. This week in the Class 5A, I have Niceville as the number 3 team in the state.
They're good.
Lincoln, number 9, also a great program over there. And in 4A, I got Choctaw in at the number 6 spot. A lot of talented teams. You can look at some of these teams' names that are on here. Like American Heritage, Jones, St. Augustine, great program. Austin Reed is on the practice squad of the Chicago Bears now. Yeah. He played at West Florida, then went to Western Kentucky. Yep. And down to your Class 2A teams, I have Pensacola Catholic in at number 3.
They are loaded.
They are loaded. Our rural schools, I have Bluntstown in at number 4, Baker at 7, Chipley at 8, and Jay at 9. And those should be coming out in the next day or so. You can see how everybody voted. Just go to FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. And my good friend Joshua Wilson doing great things for not only football but flag football as well in the state of Florida.
Speaking of flag football, we got.
Go ahead.
I was going to say
the floor is yours.
We got Natalie Bush that works out with us. She is a fantastic athlete. She's actually going to be moving to Missouri in a few months. Her dad is in the military. I don't know if you knew that.
I thought he was a recruiter, if I remember. Maybe a different Bush.
Yeah, I believe no.
A reserve recruiter, I believe.
Yeah, we have the same career field actually. But I think he is a recruiter right now, if I can remember correctly. But Natalie had 36 touchdowns last year as a receiver. Man, and
I met her last week, I believe.
She's a fantastic athlete, works really, really hard. She has a poker face like no other. I'm a pretty good coach, I feel that way. I'm able to figure out athletes, how they're feeling, like during workouts and stuff. She's so tough to read, man. She has a poker face out of this world.
Well, that's good. That's tough. Usually it takes years and years and years to get that poker face. But if you can get it at even 17. A younger age, then all the power to you.
No doubt.
Let's go over. I'm going to give you my Irish Bills Panhandle Power Rankings, Week 3. My large schools, we've got Niceville, Choctaw, Mosley, Tate, Escambia. Arnold moves in at number 6 as they go to 3-0, and Pace at 1-1. They're number 7. Small schools, you got Catholic, Mariana, Chipley, Baker, Jay, Bluntstown, and Walton comes in with their first victory of this season. Great quarterback over there, Wells Bentonhausen, having an outstanding season. He's already thrown for about 800 or 900 yards in his first 3 games. Having a great year. He's been my Offensive Player of the Week in Week 1. But this week's Offensive Player of the Week goes to Pensacola High. We saw him in the Kickoff Classic. A.J. Floyd had a big night as he ran for 239 yards on 24 carries and 3 touchdowns. They came up a little bit short, the tape, but nobody thought that they would come as close as they did because this team only scored 1 touchdown in the 23 season.
Bill, I actually had an opportunity to watch Fort Walton and them play against each other in the spring, and it was incredible to see how much of turnaround they had. The support from the parents, but they looked like a completely different team. So the coaching staff that just got hired, last December, they've done a fantastic job.
Well, I forgot to do, during this, I got to do my drum roll. Our defensive player hails from Tate, Braden Walker, as he produced 15 tackles last week, a tackle for loss and a sack, and the Aggies 27-22 win over Pensacola. And by the second straight week, our special teams player is from Niceville. Place kicker Logan Karwacki takes the honors as he went 4 for 4 in extra points, 2 for 2 on field goals in 33 and 36, and a 36-14 win over Pine Forest. And there are your players of the week for Week 3. Like the Dremel?
That's very impressive.
I added that this year.
I think the wealth of knowledge that you have is blowing me away. I talk to you a lot, and just to sit here and realize how much you remember and how much you understand about the area when it comes to athletics is
it's
incredible.
They say that if something interests you, you have a better chance of remembering that item.
That's true.
If you're taking interest in.
That's true.
And that's one thing I can tell you. I'll tell you a little story. When I was a little kid, we had a small town where I think we were about 9,000 people growing up in Kendallville, Indiana. We had a local newspaper. They would deliver in the morning. So my thing was to be the first out of bed, out to the front porch, grab the sports section. I would memorize all the baseball the box scores,
Really?
and it didn't matter what sport it is. We go to football, I'm doing the same thing. I would even call, which I got in trouble for. I would remember when the 800 numbers came online, you could get sports scores.
Yeah.
And I did it 1 month before my dad said, "Bill, what's all these charges on here?" It's like, oops, that was me. But no, I knew at an early age that I wanted to broadcast, and given the opportunity after I retired from the Air Force, I was fortunate to run into a friend of mine, the late Bill Brownell. He got me into the broadcasting. He introduced me to Robert Williamson, who I worked with for 7 years, and then broke off from Robert and been doing it on my own for 5 years. And one thing in sports has always come easy to me. My knowledge, because I wasn't much of being 5'6", 135 pounds in high school. I wasn't playing football. I played golf in high school. I was just learning how to play golf, but I always had a great memory for sporting events, and it's always now I get to share it with all of you.
We're blessed to have you.
But Joe, I know you want to hear the picks tonight. Well, we'll tell you how we did last week. We'll save the picks for tomorrow night's show. But last week Joe went 19-6. He's still our leader on top overall with 66-21. 75, almost 76%. Bob and I went 18-7 last week on our high school picks. Bob's in second place, 61-26. Paul Villanova, he pulled up the rear last week at 15-10. He's at 16-27, and unfortunately, yours truly is at the bottom of the pack, 58-29. Kind of off to a slow start here, but I'm going to catch up. But we'll go over our games tomorrow night.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish.
That's you
Learn
got that right. You got that right.
Yeah.
And our college picks last week, Bill, Joe, and I finished 19-7, so we tied. Bob went 18-8. Paul bringing up the rear again. Starting to see a trend here after he had a great first week. I'm actually leading in the college picks, 41-10 overall. And don't bring up my Irish. That's a sore subject with me right now. Bob's 39-12, tied with Joe at 39-12, and Paul's at 37-14. And we'll go over our picks tomorrow night on the Buffalo Wild Wings coaches show. But that's a great show, and
it is.
I was wondering who we're going to have out there tomorrow night.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Last week we had a great crew out there with Easy Gasca was out there.
Bryce
Wheeler, Braxton Barr, and Will Payton.
Yeah.
The first week we had Andre Spence.
Yeah.
Easy was out there. He's been there 2 weeks in a row. I told him last week he's starting to become a regular.
Hey, Easy's a great leader.
Vinny Villanova was out there with us, and Jacob Walsh, who I was very impressed with talking with him last week. And
eloquent speakers, all of them.
They are. And these are players that are playing at the next level right now. On the practice squad for the Arizona Cardinals, Michael Carter. Quentin Randolph finished his third season with the Vegas Nighthawks. Their indoor season is over with. Jordan Jefferson getting his first playing time for the Jaguars. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Hey, he looked the part.
And the big man on campus, the BMOC as I like to call it, Temple wide receiver Dante Wright last week. 11 catches, 101 yards, a touchdown, 3 punt returns. Unfortunately, they lost to Navy. Navy off to a great start so far. They'll be playing at Coastal Carolina this week. What a great game by Dante.
Yeah, outside of my son, Dante is probably my favorite Raider of all time. He was so fun to watch.
One of the most talented young men that it's ever come out of Navarre. Eastern Kentucky Josh Carter's having a great year. He had 100 yards rushing against Western Kentucky last week on 19 carries. He also had a reception for the season, 38 carries. So that's 19 carries a game. That's simple math for me. This old Indiana boy, that's 19 carries a game and 175 yards on the season for Josh early on against some very good opponents.
Western Kentucky has a really good defense.
And McNeese State, Elijah Melendez is a senior over there. He started all 3 games for McNeese State so far. They lost. They got a chance to play at Texas A&M last weekend.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Then we got Huntington College. Bailey Houston is hard to believe these guys are seniors already.
Right, seriously.
And his parents are back living in the area. Their son, their young, I think their youngest son, Brody,
plays at NYSA, right? Or no,
he's
plays
a freshman at Navarre. He's
yeah.
quarterback at Navarre on the freshman
Yeah.
team. So they're back in the area. Florida State defensive lineman Grady Kelly, they were off last week. Devin Wright finally got into his first game for West Florida last week. He had 1 tackle in that 38-6 win over McKendree. They'll be on the road next weekend. They're off again this week. Who we were talking about earlier, Ethan Newman, sophomore, starting at Kennesaw State for the Owls.
If you've never seen Ethan Newman's high school film, you need to go check it out on Huddle.
Deborah's saying, don't pick on Paul, the predictor. I'm sorry, Deborah. But you know what? When the cat's away, the mice will play. You got University of Western Michigan wide receiver Terrence Marshall. Hasn't been in a game yet, but their first 2 games, he got to go to Camp Randall in Wisconsin. Yeah. Last week, he got to go to the Horseshoe.
That's a big deal.
Ohio State.
To be a true freshman as a receiver, man, big deal.
Most definitely. Some big places to go early on in his career. His younger brother, his twin, Tyrell, is over at West Florida as well. Did get to play last week, but I'm sure he won't be sitting for very long. And then you got the tandem up at Maryville College, Hunter Feaster and Jackson Spalla. They had a win in their first week. Neither one got to see the field, but I'm sure Jackson will work his way into the lineup rather quickly.
They're both looking really well. Jackson's been showing out. I think he started the depth chart 4 for the centers, and now he's up to 2.
Nice.
I mean, he worked his way up in 2 weeks, man.
And when he doesn't have football and he's back in the area, he has been a guest on Irish Bill's Twist on Sports a couple of times as well. Yeah, that's something that he's looking at to do in the future. I like to cover Gulf South Conference because of West Florida, and also I cover the SIAC. Who do you know that covers high school football, then covers D2 football with Gulf South Conference and the SIAC?
Only Bill Hemmel.
Only me. Well, we had games last week in the Gulf South Conference. Delta State, Valdosta State, West Alabama all go to 2-0. West Florida 1-1. Erskine, a new arrival to the Gulf South Conference this year. They're 1-1. Chowan 0-1. North Greenville 0-1. Mississippi College 0-1. Last week, Brady started at. You're very familiar with Shorter University, right?
Decently familiar.
They're at Georgia School over there in Rome, Georgia, with a great high school program over there at Rome.
Rome's a good area. Beautiful area.
He got to see some players over there when he was over there. He played his freshman and sophomore year at Shorter. They beat Mississippi College last week, 29-5. Unfortunately, when he was there, they went 0-22. West Florida over McKendree, 38-6. Kaiser over North Greenville, 23-20.
That's surprising.
Elizabeth City State over Chowan, 12-9. Delta State, a strong program over there in Cleveland, Mississippi. It's as far northwest as you can go in the state of Mississippi. Believe me, I've drove that before to watch Brady play. They played Missouri S&T out of Rolla, Missouri. Been up there as well, as Miles College played up there. West Alabama over Tusculum, 45-9. Presbyterian over Erskine, 31-14. And one of the best Division II college programs, Valdosta State over Newberry, 27-14. This week's schedule, North Greenville at the Citadel. They're playing up in that one. Elizabeth City State at Erskine, Delta State at Wingate, Barton at Chowan, Texas A&M Kingsville, and Mississippi College Limestone at West Alabama, and Fayetteville State at Valdosta State. There's your Gulf South Conference update. And now let's move over to the SIAC, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. It took me forever to get that right. Clark Atlanta did not win a game last year. They were 0-10.
Yeah, we actually had an opportunity to go up there for a camp. they got a really good coaching staff coming in. Yeah.
Nice stadium, seats only on one side.
Yeah.
Been up there as well.
Right on campus.
Actually, it's kind of funny. I went up there by myself. Miles was playing Clark Atlanta, and Morehouse is like a mile from. So I figured I was at Clark Atlanta. So I parked in the parking lot in the garage area. I was parking at Morehouse, and I had to walk a mile to get to the stadium. Yeah. And anyways, I said I paid $10. I'm not going to move. Anyways, Clark Atlanta 2-0. Edward Waters 1-1. They're out of Jacksonville. Lane College is out of Jackson, Tennessee. Savannah State, Benedict College, Allen, Fort Valley State, Tuskegee, Miles College, Albany State, Central State, Kentucky State, and Morehouse College make up the SIAC Conference. Last week's results: Grand Valley State 58-0 over Central State. Florida Memorial, first Division II team in the state of Florida, beat Edward Waters 31-21. Clark Atlanta over Allen 26-22. Johnson C. Smith over Morehouse 37-13. Alabama A&M out of Huntsville, Alabama over Kentucky State 39-7. Shaw University out of South Carolina over Albany State 43-40 in a high-scoring game. Alabama State over Miles 24-3. Grambling over Tuskegee 37-20. Southern University over Savannah State 42-10. In our Week 3 schedule, Clark Atlanta at Florida Memorial, Kentucky State at Fort Valley State, Morehouse at Howard University, Edward Waters at Alcorn State, Allen at Livingston College, Lane at Benedict, and Central State at Savannah State. Your SIAC and Gulf South Conference updates.
It's pretty cool to see Clark Atlanta turn it around, being able to go up there for a camp, and we actually visited the campus, got to communicate with the entire coaching staff. To see them turn it around so quickly is awesome.
Well, one of the strangest games that I went to while Brady was playing at Miles College, they were playing Clark Atlanta. It's a conference game, so if you start the game, you got to finish because it's a conference game. The game started at 2:00 in the afternoon. 3 weather delays later, they come back onto the field at 12:30 in the morning.
Goodness.
To finish the game, they're down by 2 touchdowns. They come back, they take the lead late, and Clark Atlanta has first and goal inside Miles College's 10-yard line. 3 straight plays, they stop him, and on the 4th play, they intercepted in the end zone.
Goodness.
The game finished at 2:45 in the morning.
Wow.
So we were there over 12 hours,
Man.
And the game lasted. When it started, it was homecoming. There was 14,000 people there. When we finished, there was 10, and we stayed the whole game, and finally had dinner at 3:00 in the morning at Brady's apartment. But that was one of the longest games I've ever been to. 3 weather delays, 2 lightnings and rain, and but they had to finish because it was a conference game. But I tell you, I had a lot of joy. One promise I think I've told you this before. The promise I made to Brady, I told him, I said, if you go to college and play football, I will do my best to make it to every one of your games. Brady played 45 games in college. Not too many players can say that they play 45 games, and I made it to every one of them.
I mean, you don't have high school players that can say that.
And it was, and some of those nights were finishing my broadcast at Navarre High School, packing up the car, and hitting the road with the wife. And she went to all but 3, and I made it to every one of them. And then the most fun was he got to play at Soldier Field his junior year in college. They lost on a Hail Mary to Morehouse, but my dad was able to come watch him play because they live about 3.5 hours away.
Oh, yeah.
My whole family got to come over and watch him play. The only time they got to see him play in college was at Soldier Field. And he had the experience of being able to walk out of the tunnel where so many Bear greats, legendary players walked out of it. And I asked him, I said, how was that? What was the feeling walking through that tunnel? He said, Dad, I can't describe it. Because Bears are his team as well. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I said, that's a once in a lifetime, buddy. The one time that Miles gets to play in the HBCU Classic is at the field of the team that you root for. Yeah. And I said, that's just is amazing. But
wasn't a coincidence at all.
So if you have a child out there that's playing a sport, and if you have the luxury, if they go on and play in college, do your darndest to be there for them, even if they're not getting in the lineup. Brady was always saying that when it was going through some struggles early on, he said it was just nice to look up there and know that he had mom and dad in the stadium, and that helped him get through some of those tough times. But so be there for your child growing up and make all the things possible for them, and I can tell you right now, you won't regret it one bit.
Yeah. They grow up and they leave the nest.
I mean, Jalen's doing what now?
Yeah, so Jalen, he's actually working on real estate. He was going to school in Central Florida, online, because he graduated during COVID-19. But, yeah, now he's working real estate, and he's got an overnight job as well, man, so he's doing his thing.
And your daughter is in the Air Force?
Yeah, my youngest daughter's in the Air Force. She's actually stationed in Masawa. She's a airfield manager.
How's she liking that?
She loves it. She came down to visit my mom a few weeks ago and stopped through here to see us as well. Had an opportunity to hang out with her for a while, and we had a good time. But she's loving it out there in Masawa. Funny thing is, Bill, she was actually born in Yokota, Japan, in Tokyo, back when I was an airman.
Wow.
I think I was 22 years old, I believe.
So this is her second trip to Japan.
Yes, sir. So she was born out there, stayed out there for a few years, and it was funny to see that was her first duty assignment.
Josh, I know I'm missing one.
Oh, Jalea, my second child.
Okay.
She goes to school at LSU, but she works at Walmart.
Go Tigers.
Great young lady. Very, very intelligent. She actually majors in digital marketing. Yeah, so good stuff. And then, we got Josh bringing it up the rear.
Well, most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank Marty for joining me tonight. Great things he's doing over there at Navarre Fitness. If you're looking for a place to work out, it's open 24/7, no pressure. You go in when you want to go in. You leave when you want to leave. It's a great place, and if you're military or first responder, the rates are cut in half, which I was very impressed with.
Yeah.
I would have still did it for the normal price, but knowing that being a military member, you can get it for $32 a month.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Todd, Chip, and Dave are phenomenal leaders.
Yes, they are. And like I said, you'll listen to one of our commercials that we're doing there for Navarre Fitness and hoping many years to come.
Yes, sir.
But for Marty Wilson, and this has been Irish Bill's Twist on Sports from Culver's in Navarre. I want to thank you all for watching tonight's show, and we'll be back on tomorrow night from Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't know who I'm having yet, if it's going to be Coach Bagley or one of the other assistant coaches. Whoever it is, it'll be a great show, and I'm sure we'll get some players out there as well, Marty.
That's right.
Any last words before we head on out?
No, I just want to say just understand how blessed we are out here in Navarre and the Panhandle. Take advantage of every single opportunity that you have. And also, we're going to do everything in our powers in the area to develop young athletes and to ensure they have the will and the skill to drive and maximize their abilities. Super excited about what we're doing.
Most definitely. 8 o'clock tomorrow night at Buffalo Wild Wings. 7 o'clock from Panama City at Tommy Oliver Stadium. 7 o'clock kickoff Central Time. So you'll be able to watch all the live action of Navarre football on Irish Bill Sports Live, irishbillsports.com, and Irish Bill Sports Live 944 on YouTube. And hopefully you'll enjoy the show, whichever one you turn in for.
That's right.
Marty Wilson, Irish Bill, we're going to call it a night. Until tomorrow night from Buffalo Wild Wings, may the wind ever be at your back. This is Irish Bill signing off.
Good night, y'all.